Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about how to roll out our forearms, and I'm going to assume that you all have already warmed up since we're not going to spend much time warming up. But how would I suggest warming up? Jump around, wiggle out, dance around, swing your arms, shake out all your joints. You could also warm your arms in a bath, in the shower, with a microwavable pad. I definitely wanted to show off this new thing that I have. These exist on the internet. This is a flaxseed one, and it has this nice long strap, so it's great for attaching it to shoulders, abdominal stuff, low back stuff, but it's also great for forearms because I was having a really hard time finding a wrap that would completely encase my whole forearm, but something that is marketed for as like extra large back wrap will often be good for at least a majority of a forearm. So, pro tip in the always heating and icing my body department. All right, so we're warmed up. Gonna show you some things to get into your flexors and extensors. That's just the two different sides of your forearms. In general, if you are using a foam roller and want to make your life easier, if standing up is accessible for you, you can use this against the wall. You can also make this work, if you have a chair and just position the chair close enough to the wall. But I'm going to show this standing just for the demo. So you can start it either up high or down low. If you start getting like tingly stuff happening, a lot of times that's from having your arm above your head for a while, so feel free to just do the low version of this if that's happening for you. And I will show the seated version of this in a minute after the standing one. So for this side of my forearm, kind of the underbelly, if you will, I also wouldn't really get into this part of the wrist. Maybe you can start it there to just get it under control, like get the foam roller under control, but you're really not going to be putting pressure into your forearm until you're getting into this belly, this meaty part of your arm. So you can do this one at a time, or you can do it with both arms at once. I have honestly found that a both arm situation is slightly easier. So if you're up high, I can just almost do like a push forward, raise up situation. If I am down low, I can just flip my arms and do more of a squat situation. And I can take this as slow as I can, honestly, and that's going to have more benefit because you're doing self-myofascial release, and it's going to be deeper and more effective if you're able to slow down and get a little bit of those layers, a little bit more friction, a little bit more movement of the tissue. So let me grab a chair and show what that looks like seated. All right. Great. All right. So if we did the lower one, I would probably just scoot back in your chair. Boop, boop, boop. And if we did the upper one, here we go. Nice and slow. You can also just hang out here. So if you find a spot and you're like, oh, yep, just hang out there. You know, until you start to tingle, and then maybe switch it up to the lower so it's less tingly. All right. We did the underbelly here. Let's do the other side. All right. So other side, same thing. Just like that. Rolling it up and down the wall, same thing, lower. I can do lower instead. And then again, if you find that spot, which I can pretty much guarantee on most people, one of your spots is going to be this baby right here. Watch this muscle when I pretend to type. Well, maybe you won't be able to see it very well, but if you put your fingers here and you start to fake type, you'll feel it. I wouldn't just go super hard and pointy into this area. It's actually more beneficial to kind of spread this area out. So maybe don't hang out with a golf ball here for 5 minutes. Maybe, definitely use your tennis ball or a lacrosse ball, something bigger. Maybe keep it moving a little bit more. By creating pressure, especially broad surface area pressure into these areas, you're basically just giving a little relief to the tendons and a little more just room for everything to breathe. So actually, what's happening if you see someone with KT tape on their arm, like many of you have seen me with KT tape on my arms recently, that KT tape is literally just spreading out these muscles and giving them a little bit more, ability to not be so taut. It's almost like if you had stretched out a rubber band and then you press in the middle and it gives a little bit of relief, right? So what else do I want to show y'all? The tennis ball, yes. All right, so same thing we did a minute ago, and I'll show this one standing, but again, you can do that in the chair just like we were doing everything else. If you don't want your tennis ball to roll away, maybe don't have a cat nearby, and maybe use a towel. So I'm just going to press towel against the wall, tennis ball, and again, I can hang out a little bit. I can move my arm a little bit to get the tennis ball worked into that muscle. I can just lower down in a semi-squat situation here. And again, you can do this low as well. And same with the other side of the arm. This one, when y'all try this out, this is going to be one you're probably going to want to hang out with here. So I'm getting into that typing muscle. All right. I find that that's the typing muscle one is easier to do low against the wall. It's definitely more challenging to do high because you're having to rotate your arm, and then it's not that part of the muscle just becomes less accessible when you have it up here. So I would actually just focus on doing that one down low for sure. Cool. If you want to try out a couple strengthening things for your elbows and kind of just this general forearm elbow area, that's not lifting weights or doing some stuff with the bands, we can do some isometric exercises. So basically you're just going to be in stillness and kind of using your own body weight resistance here. So what that would look like would be me resisting elbow flexion by just putting my hand on my forearm here, and I just lift. So if this arm wasn't here, this would be happening. So I'm just resisting, 1, 2, 3, relax, 2, 2, 3. Relax. 3, 2, 3. And then I could do the opposite, so elbow extension, being resisted by the hand. So 1, 2, 3. Relax. 2, 2, 3. And you'll feel your muscles engage, right? So that's how you know that you're getting the benefit, because you know these babies up here are going to be activating. I would probably, try out like a set of 10, see how that feels like at the 3 seconds each. Can do, add in more sets if it feels good to your body. Cool. And in general, other stretches that are good for forearms, which often I would do before the rolling stuff, but there's no really right or wrong way, just whatever feels good to your body. But this is a good opening stretch for the underbelly side. Your thumb can get involved, or you can just leave it out there. Just whatever feels okay in your body. Just keep your joints stacked here. So just pulling the fingers back. You can hold that for 10. You can always hold it longer, but just, see what 10 feels like. Wiggle it out, and then you can stretch out the other side of your arm by just pulling your hand down and back towards you again. Thumb can get involved, or you can really just focus on holding that part of your hand rather than any of the fingers. Alright, cool. I hope that can help you have some less tension in your forearms. Let me know if you have any questions. I will do a follow-up video on rolling out upper arms next. Alright, see y'all soon.